Hello there, this is my little video about the best films of the year. I'm not setting this thing up with the way I usually do it because it's Christmas week and I don't want to do stuff like that. I just want to do a simple video about what I thought of the year really. And basically I thought it was a good year. There were some great films here, there were some even the kind of weaker films, films I thought were weak. I didn't actually hate them, I just thought they were, even the disappointments, there was usually something you could find in them. Even the actual bad films, I kind of enjoy a lot of them, which is a good sign for a year because normally a lot of years you're struggling for a few good ones. But this year was actually very solid. I mean, my favourite film of the year was something I've already talked about, was Hard to Be a God. So I won't go into any more details about it. But it was a masterpiece. It was just so good. The other film I'd say is a genuine masterpiece of cinema this year. And my second favourite film of the year is Mad Max Fury Road, which is a completely different kind of film from Hard to Be a God. It's very visceral. It's very pulp based, but it's still gorgeous, and it's all about the kinetic aspects of cinema and silence and acting through looks, which is also Hard to Be God's about too, actually. But it's great. And they're both movies are post-apocalyptic, so that's a sign where the year's gone. But there've been more great films in that theme. Other films I really liked were something like John Wick, which was a tremendous action movie. It's just pure pulp, but just gorgeous. Sort of Mad Max that knew what it was and just did it. And another great pulp movie of the year was actually another sequel actually, which was Mission Impossible It was Mission Impossible 5. I can never remember the title because the worst part of that film is its title. It's just way too complicated. But it's a great fun movie. It's a spy movie. It knows it's absurd. It's one of those movies you just watch. It's silly, but it knows it's silly. And that's what's really great about it. There's no any real weak link in it, so it's a great film to watch and enjoy. Another film that I loved, and this was one that was a massive bomb, and I don't think it had much respect, but I thought it was a great visual film, was The Walk, which is Robert Zemeckis' film about a guy walking over the Twin Towers in the 70s. Basically, he treated it like a heist movie. You watch them try to find a way to do this wire walk between the Twin Towers. And it's a great movie. The visuals are amazing, the characterization's nice. It's not only absurd in the first section because the main character's really selfish and a bit of a dick, but funny as hell because it's set up all the time in very subtle ways. And the sequence where he walks is tremendous. Just a great little film. It was a big film, but a little film, because it was made for a budget, but it was still a very little film at heart. The only bit that was big was when they do the walk. So it actually feels like a little film even though it's a big film. It's a very weird because I do think it was a little film, even though it's a mega budget bomb. But that's the kind of film it is, it's just strange. Another one that didn't get much respect but I thought was great was Inherent Vice, which is Paul Thomas Anderson's film with Joaquin Phoenix as an investigator in the 70s. It's got a sprawling plot. You don't really have to pay that much attention to because they explain everything anyway, but it's all the characters and the details and all the fun stuff about how this guy interacts with people. And it's really about a friendship between him and this cop, this straight-laced cop, who's a lot more dysfunctional. It's played by Josh Brolin. And it's a great relationship, and it's also a relationship between Phoenix and his ex-girlfriend as well, which is not part of the movie. I mean, it's a wonderful film, it's a lovely film. It was completely ignored on release. I mean, I think it's Anderson's best film since his early stuff. I've always liked most of his films, but I think The Master was way too long. It just dragged on. I think There Will Be Blood dragged on a little bit as well. This is Punch Drunk Love was my favourite before this. This is up there with Punch Drunk Love because it's shorter and it's more to the point and it does all the good stuff that Anderson does. Another one that I really liked was Predestination, which is a Film starring Ethan Hawke's a time travel movie, and a lot of it takes place in a bar with Ethan Hawke talking to this guy, and him telling Hawke his story, and it shows you how the whole time travel thing twists and turns. It's hard to explain, and explanation will ruin a lot of the plot twists. But it's not really about the twist. I mean, you can start working it out before reveals happen, but it's much more about you watching the characters, because the characters don't know certain things, and it's basically a character-based study rather than a plot movie, really. It's all about characters. The plot's good, but it's how it affects people is the real interest in this film. So that's another great film. The last two is Sicario and Crimson Peak, of my favourite films this year, really. Crimson Peak is a very flawed film. I mean, this is probably my kind of guilty pleasure list, where it's objectionably flawed. I mean, the plot, it's sounds a horror movie. It's not a horror movie, it's a romance. And the plot is kind of obvious. You kind of know what's going to happen before it happens. Just the visuals and the atmosphere and the characterization, all that stuff just works beautifully. It's a great dream of a movie. So I mean, if you hate it, you hate it, but I loved it, so there we go. And Sicario is about the drug wars. And it stars Emily Blunt and Benicio del Toro, and it's pretty much following as a woman through one drug operation that's much more complicated than it seems. And the whole idea of it actually is the drug wars are unwinnable, and it's just how to do damage control, because no one can really cope with the fact that there's always demand for the product, so we're never going to really stop the drug wars without people stop taking drugs, and that's not going to happen. So it's about a drug war being unwinnable, and the effects on people, and the effects on actually fighting a war you can't win. So I mean, The Wire did this a long time ago on TV, because I mean that was in the noughties and The Wire did this, and nothing's really changed, but it's a nice little story that tells you a bit more about the modern drug war. So those are my favourites of the year. There was some other films I really enjoyed that were a bit more flawed, but I still thought they were great fun, like Cooties. Fast 7 was great fun for a lot of the action sequences. Force Awakens was lovely in lots of ways, flawed in other ways. There was Ant-Man, which I very much enjoyed. Avengers Age of Ultron, and sort of like the Star Wars film, where it's really flawed in some ways, but the stuff that works really works. So it's like, it's one of those years where there's lots of films that may have flaws, but the great stuff in them actually makes it really worth it. So I mean, those are the kind of films I really enjoyed, even though they may have not been the top grade of the year. There's also what I would call the mediocrity of the year, which are films that may have been enjoyable, but they're not as good as they should have been. In that, I'd put something like Jurassic World or Terminator Genesis, where those bits of them I liked, but those bits of them are really lazy as well, and they're getting by in nostalgia, really. So my lot of people hated Terminator, this Terminator film. I didn't, but I could see why people didn't like it, because the second half was quite lazy, and rewriting the first half, rewriting all the timelines was kind of annoying to a lot of people, because it was like stepping on holy ground. I still liked it because the first two Terminator films still exist, and you can ignore all the sequels after that. I can't do it, I just ignore them. They're like, that's interesting, but I don't really count them. So there's that, so I just do it that way. There was some overrated films. I thought Birdman was overrated. I mean, it was obvious what it was doing. It was really well acted, and the writing was okay, but it was like, you kind of knew what the film was about for the first few minutes. And it didn't do anything that original, it just was like stuff you'd seen before. But the actors were really good, they really sold it. There was some actually underrated films like Black Hat, which would get a lot of hate. I enjoyed it. It wasn't Michael Mann's best, but it wasn't deserving of all the hate it got. I just thought it was like, it's a lesser film by a big director. It happens. No one does great every time, but it's still enjoyable. Then we'll go on to the mega bombs of the year. One of which I love and one of which I really hated. The one I really hated was Pan. Pan is one of the worst movies I've seen in years. It is stupid. It's really stupid. I mean, it makes a prequel to Peter Pan that has him and Hook being friends. It's like every bad idea you could have in one movie, and then have the movie set a soundstage where you can see it's basically a set the whole way through, and it's musical numbers that don't make any sense to the world because they destroy the mood. So almost every decision they made in this film was wrong. There's not one good action scene. There's not one good scene of anything in this film. It's just atrocious. And it was made by a guy who's actually made some good films, which is Joe Wright. So I have no idea what the hell happened, but it was bad in a way that wasn't. You couldn't have fun with the movie. A film that was really flawed. It was a mega bomb that I kind of really enjoyed. Was Jupiter Ascending. I've got to admit, I'm a apologist for the Wachowskis. I like the Wachowskis, even though I'm aware that they make lots of mistakes. But I still like the mood of the films and their ambition. I've obviously got a kind of warm spot in my heart for the Wachowskis, so I'm sure I've been more forgiving of this film than a lot of people would be. But I still was interested. It was sort of one of those films like Dune, you know, where it is a complete disaster, but it's a disaster made by an interesting director, or directors in this case. And so even when they're going wrong, they're always doing some interesting stuff. So even though the plot doesn't really work, the romance is a non-starter because the two leads have no chemistry. And the last third kind of just falls apart in lots of ways because there's the good bits in it, but then there's bits there where they totally take away any initiative from the leading lady. Which is like, what the hell happened there? Like, was that a rewrite or did they just not write it properly? But even those flaws are interesting to watch. So it was weird. It's one of my favourite bad movies of this year. So I've really enjoyed it, even though I've seen it twice. I really enjoyed it, but it's one of those weird failures I'm going to watch way too many times. I love movies like that fail, but there's lots of weird stuff going on. I mean, if you're not going to be a great film, I'd rather you be a failure, an interesting failure like Jupiter Ascending, rather than a boring disaster like Pan, or something like American Sniper, which had no ambition. You know, just give me something weird if you're going to fail. That's all I ask. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. This is my view of the year. Hopefully you like the mix of, you know, different types of films. I'll see you all next year because I know I'm off for Christmas.